All right. So we'll just get started with a bit of just when you're ready. I know there's people still rushing around getting things done. Don't rush, just take your time. We're just going to start with alternate nostril breathing. So when you're ready, just sit down, relax, and just come into the alternate nostril. It's always a nice way just to get yourself set for the yoga class. So just fingers between the eyebrows, the peace fingers. Block the right side, inhale left. Block left, release right, exhale. Inhale right. Block right, release left, exhale. And then just continue through in your own time. Just enjoying the breath, just enjoying that ability to start calming the mind and feeling peaceful with the breath, with the body. Just making every inhale deeper. Okay, so just work towards that. And I'll just explain what we're going to do in the class today. We're going to start with a really nice yin flow, which is certain poses. We're just going to flow from one position to another before we come into Shavasana. So it'll be a really, really nice way to start the class. So when you're ready, just release the hands, keep the eyes closed, just come into deep breathing, so through both nostrils. And then when you're ready, we're just going to move into child's pose. So coming into child's pose, and getting as comfortable as you can in child's pose. And I always encourage, if you need to have something in front of you, have that, like a cushion or something. Just make sure that you get yourself comfortable. So this is the first pose. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable in this first pose. Make sure that hips are back to the heels. Hips are back on the heels, and then slowly work your way forward. So you're probably a little bit tight, so just work your way into the position. And just allow yourself to sink into the pose. So the theme today is just to get into the pose and do nothing. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on today, is just that calmness of the mind. And just allow the body to get where it wants to get today. Don't push the body, just allow it to get there. So we're starting off with a nice forward bend because we've got, I think, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 back bends in a row. So just enjoy this forward bend. So I've been working a lot on this Ayurveda course that I'm putting together, and everything is just about energy. And so it's just delving deeper into Ayurveda's teaching me a lot as well as I'm putting the course together. So just the energy now that we need to focus on from now till 10 o'clock in the morning is the energy of prana. So that's our life force. So it's about bringing that into the process of the day. So if you can just focus on that breath only. Don't worry too much about the poses. As long as you're not injuring yourself, just getting the pose comfortable. But work with that prana. That's the energy. Okay, so that's what's going to get you through the day. The deeper the breath, the better. The longer, slower the exhale, the better. So when you're ready, we're going to move into the first back bend. The first back bend is just from this position. So we lift the hips up, bring the feet apart, and come into melting heart. Okay, so what I want you to do is pick a way you're going to get into melting heart. All right, so the full way is this way. We just slide the hands forward, chest on the floor, chin on the floor. Okay, if you've got a bad neck, and I know there's a few of you out there that have, just bring your forehead to the floor. Okay, so that's going to lengthen the spine. And sometimes you need the lengthening more than the shortening of the spine. So you can have a block in front of you and place that on there. Place your forehead on there. As long as the hips are up, you're getting the back bend. You can have your bolster there and have the arms on the bolster. And just bring your forehead onto the bolster. And slowly let the chest come down, but the hips up. Okay, so I want you to get as comfortable as possible in this pose. It's a really, really nice back bend. Benefits in this are huge. So if you can get into the full pose, that means your neck is working perfectly. Your hips are nice and open, and you're getting those hips up and the stretch in the neck as well. Throat, getting the stretch in the throat, the compression of the neck. But if that's too much on the neck, always lengthen the neck. So compression in the throat, forehead on the floor, lengthen the neck. So as comfortable as you can be. Everyone's on the pose really nice. Now just work on the prana now. It's 2.5 minutes to go, so just work on the breath. So in this class, we're working from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the energy of kapha. So kapha is very grounding. So we want to connect to that grounding energy, but use prana to bring the next energy in, which from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock is pitta energy. So pitta energy is transformation. And pitta energy is hot, vibrant, fire. So what we want to do is keep as calm as we can now, physically. so we don't heat up too much between 10 and 2 o'clock. Because with too much heat in the body, pitta produces the bile that burns all the excessive energy. So we don't want to get the bile too hot. We want to just keep it working well. You'll learn all this more as we do the Ayurveda course. So just the last few breaths here. So now we're going to move onto the stomach. So come onto the stomach. And we'll go straight into Bhujangasana, and then we'll have our first Shavasana. So bring the hands either side of the rib cage. Now just remember what I've said before about this. Just because I've got my hands here, elbows in, the further your hands go forward, it is for you to come up. So what I want you to do is find a spot where you can come up. Okay, so I'm okay with my hands right beside my chest, elbows in, but you might need your hands in front of your eyes and just come up like that. Just push up, squeeze the glutes and push up. Okay, you don't want to put too much pressure on your back. Don't jump into a place that you're not ready for. And then slowly come up. Come up as high as you can. If your elbows are still bent, maybe come down and just come out a little bit further and try and straighten those elbows. Straighten the arms. Good. Just find that position that's comfortable for you. Don't push yourself into a position just because I'm there or just because you think you should be there. And just hold there. So this is a really good squeeze of the adrenal glands. So what we're trying to do is reset the adrenal glands. And with this breath, the prana, squeezing the adrenal glands, it's going to give us plenty of energy through the next 4 hours. So we're not going to burn excessive energy, which burns us out for the afternoon. We're trying to stabilize our energy through the heat of the day, through the hottest part of the day. Keep holding there, keep squeezing the glutes. Push the hips further into the floor if you can. So just remember this, the hips are important to come into the floor. So if you need your hands more forward to do that, you do that. That's where you're going to get the benefit is from the hips. Slowly come down, come into crocodile pose. Stack the hands, feet out wide, toes out, heels in. So with that little flow there, you should feel really relaxed. That's the aim of those 3 poses together. So now we just up the energy a bit, bring the heat in a little bit, with a couple of deeper back bends. So we do Purnasalavasana and Dhanurasana. So just enjoy the rest right at the moment. So when you're ready, we're going to bring the hands to the side of the body, bring the feet together, bring the palms facing down. And then we're just going to lift the chest off the floor, just the chest. Now the arms. So chest and arms. Keep the feet on the floor. And just bring that, so squeeze the glutes, lift the chest up a little bit higher, bring the shoulder blades together, chin away from the chest. Keep the feet on the floor. As you come up Arms up, chest up, chin up, look up. Shoulder blades together, chest up, sternum up. So keep pushing that chest forward and up. You should start to shake a little bit as you come up a little bit higher. Keep the feet down on the floor, legs on the floor, come up a little bit higher. And then exhale, come down. Bring the left chest, allow the back to rest. So now look forward again and bring the hands forward in front of you. This time we're going to lift the arms up, chest up. So we're coming from this way. Arms up, chest up, squeeze the glutes, now lift the legs up. So arms up, chest up, legs up. Keep reaching forward like you want to touch something in front of you, and point the toes back like you want to touch something behind you. Bring the chest up, chin up, legs up. So you want the thighs off the floor right now. As you lift, come up, lift up, come up. And exhale, come down. Just bring the arms down by the side, right. And breathe. Lots of back bends to start off with, and we're just working to keep our mind calm through the breath. Okay, so we're really learning now on the mat how to control our breath. So when the world gets a bit hectic, just remember and breathe. Okay, you can always control your breath, control the anxiety by going back to the breath. So when you're coming into Dhanurasana, which is floor bow pose, so bend the legs up, reach behind, grab the feet. So we'll go through the process here. So the chest off the floor, chin off the floor, bring the shoulder blades together. Now kick the feet into the hands. So the thighs are still on the floor, but kick the feet into the hands and just watch my chest come up as I do that. So your chest should come up. Once your chest comes up, bring the chin away from the chest, shoulder blades together, thighs off the floor. Point those toes to the sky as you kick the feet into the hands. Bring the chest up a little bit higher, kick the feet into the hands. So bring those thighs off the floor, keep pushing to get those thighs off the floor, toes up, chest up, chin up, and then release. Coming down. Stack the hands and come into crocodile pose. And just relax. How's your hand, Mary? You're doing pretty well with all these poses. Doing good. Okay, so all those back bends, what we need now is a really, really nice forward bend. And I know this is a tough forward bend, but we're going to do it, so help yourself up. We're going to come into dangling pose. Just getting the timer on so I can get into it as well. This is a really, really nice pose. So come into dangling. Now what I want you to do is drop down with grabbing your hips like we normally do. Get your feet set to where you need them set. Grab the hips and make sure you find that bony bit with your two fingers and thumb behind. Inhale, shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up, and then fold. Feel that bony bit come down towards the thighs. Once that comes down towards the thighs and tilts, you feel the tilt, then drop the head down. And then Get yourself set so you can just relax in this pose. Just enjoy this deep stretch, this deep forward bend after all those back bends. So a good 3 minutes in this. We're just going to get that blood flowing down. This is something that, you know, an inversion, we could do an inversion every day. And this is a really simple inversion. It's quite safe. So there's this one and legs up the wall. So if you could pick one of those a day to do, it will really just help you with your blood flow, releasing a lot of the inflammation around the joints. Not just around the joints, but in the brain. Okay, so we get a lot of inflammation around that area, particularly if you're pitta. So we just want to get that blood to flow around and release it. Keep breathing. Remember, today's focus is the breath. So that's what we're focusing on. So we usually focus on the certain physical parts of the body, but today it's breath, it's prana. So whatever pose you get into, just get into it the best you can and breathe, and then focus on the breath. Forget the physicality, just the breath. This will take you into the rest of the day, just feeling amazing, just from controlling that breath, controlling the stress, the anxiety, the depression, all those emotions that flow around. So you've got a minute to go. It's always a long 3 minutes in this pose. So last 20 seconds, drop that head down as far as you can go. Lift those hips up as high as you can go. And when you're ready, we're going to keep dangling down. Put the fingers on the floor, bring the feet wide, toes out, heels in, and drop the hips a fair bit. It's a really nice way to get out of that dangling pose, because then we start lengthening through the spine, so the upper body starts rejuvenating from that blood flow, the opposite of the blood flow. So we're just coming back into normal blood flow. So if this is too much, some days that you don't want to be in this pose, and that's okay, go into happy baby. Okay, so that's your option. Every time we come into this pose, if you just think, I can't do it today, happy baby, just drop straight into that. Okay, so happy baby is just on your back, just grabbing the feet like that. Because we're in this for the full 3 minutes. So we're working deep in the hips now, but lengthening the spine. So chin away from the chest. Keep pushing. Good now. It's amazing seeing the progression of everyone through this time. It's really, really good. Just work with that breath. Remember, that's the most important thing today is the breath. Even if you've had enough of this pose and you sit down on your bum, just work with the breath. It's the focus of you and the breath only. So you find that the poses here today are all basic yoga, basic yoga poses that if you ever want a real basic yoga class that works, always come back to this replay. That's how I've made it as a really basic class that you'll feel amazing energy after. You're going to get a really good variety of forward and back bends, lengthening of the spine. You've got your inversion in there. We've got a twist to finish with. So it's really, really nice way to get a complete body workout in the hour. And out of this, you can just pick a few poses. Make sure you do a forward bend, back bend, and a twist, and an inversion. And there's your yoga class. We just did one of those each. So a minute to go. I know it's a tough pose. Everyone's hanging in really well. So just in the last 45 seconds, just try and work those hips out a little bit more, the knees out a little bit more. See if you can. And as soon as you do that, just go back to the breath. And just remember, we're working to eventually straighten the spine. So eventually we get to that stage. It takes a little while to get those hips to tilt in this pose. So when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. Just bring the hands behind you and then work into Shavasana. So stretch those legs out. Get the blood flowing through the hips, knees. So that pose obviously is just awesome for you. We all get a lot of in the hips, lower back area. And when you're ready, bend your knees up, give yourself a bit of a hug, and a squeeze, then roll up to a seated position. And we're going to come into, so we've done the hips now, forward back bends, hips, inversion. So now we're going to come into the hamstrings. So Janu Shavasana is one of my favorites for this. So legs straight out. Again, this is a real, really important pose in yoga. So legs straight out, left leg, right foot up on the inside of the thigh and grabbing the strap. Make sure you grab the strap, use the strap. Just place it underneath the foot and get yourself comfortable with where you need to be with the strap. Then pull on the strap, shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up, come down. Remember, the main thing is stomach to thigh. Work that stomach to thigh. Keep working on the stomach to thigh. And then after that, it's head to knee. Okay, so once the stomach's on the thigh, start working that head to knee, and then the chin tucks under as you bring the head to knee. But always continually use the strap. You don't want to just be grabbing the foot and not getting any tension there. So the pulling is the object of stretching. So you need a good pull to stretch. So just know what you're working on. Is it stomach to thigh? If that's it, just keep pulling and working the stomach to thigh. Forget about it once you've set your mind on it and just work with the breath, just the breath. Don't keep thinking, I've got to get that stomach to thigh, I've got to get the stomach to thigh. Just know that you've got to do that and then work with the breath. Because the breath is what's going to get you into that position. So the reason I like this pose is what's happening in the pose. So we're getting that stretch through the hamstring. We're lengthening through the back. So we're getting that lengthen through the back. We're releasing the lower back, but we're also stretching through the hip by having that right knee out, blocking blood flow through the hip and the ankle. So we're releasing that as well. So there's a lot happening just in this simple pose. And also we're teaching ourselves to get that tilt in the pelvis. Once that pelvis is tilting correctly, that means so much more for our mobility. Our ability just goes through the roof. So you've got just under a minute to go on this side. And you always feel in this pose where you're tight, where the tight spots are really quickly. So I can feel my lower back on the right-hand side is so tight for some reason. So I'm just breathing into that area, not getting concerned about it, just going with it, knowing that I've been doing a lot of computer work, sitting, stuff like that. So it's just a matter of just knowing it's there and dealing with it through breath, through the stretch. And just remember, any tightness is stagnant energy. So the way to get rid of the tightness is move the energy. So it's all about movement, move the energy. When you're ready, slowly come up. Switching legs. Stretch that right leg out. Give it a shake if you like. Left leg comes up. The foot comes up as high as you can go. Again, work with that strap. So get the strap into the position you need to get into. And this is the important part, is lengthening through the spine as you pull on the strap. Shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up, and work that stomach to the thigh. Once you get that stomach to the thigh, that's when you move forward from there. Until then, just keep pulling and stretching and getting that stomach to the thigh. Set the intention, then connect to the breath. Your stomach's to the thigh, keep pulling and working that head down towards the knee. Once the head gets close to the knee, tuck the chin to the chest and bring head to knee. And in this pose as well, just check with yourself where you're leaning. Okay, so are both seat bones on the floor? Are you leaning to the right too much? If that's the case, you just got to keep working your left seat bone to the floor. If the seat bone's coming up a fair bit, It's really nice to tuck a towel under there or something that gives you the impression that your cheekbone is on the floor, your seat bone. That'll just even yourself up and give you that pressure to push down. So just, if that's the case, you can just work on that slowly. It's just getting that hip bone down. Just keep bringing that stomach to the thigh. The positive aspects of this pose are kicking in. Got a minute to go. So the last 25 seconds, nice deep inhale. Try and have one breath for that time. And when you're ready, slowly come up. Moving into Shavasana. Giving yourself a good rest after that one. And if when you come out of that pose you feel stiff and awkward and stuff, that's good. That means you're really pushing past some walls. You can see a lot of movement there. I feel it every time I come out of that pose. Just getting out of the pose, you just feel all these different stiffnesses and whatever it is. Once you get into Shavasana, that'll just start going away. The blood will start flowing through. So the next pose is a hip opener, and I'll give you an option. So we're going to come into frog pose. So if you remember frog pose, it's up on the knees out wide, toes facing out, heels in. So that's what we're going to go into. But again, I'm going to give you an option to come into happy baby if you want to do that. Okay, so you can just stay laying on the floor and just go straight into happy baby. Or if you want to go into frog pose, just bend the knees up, squeeze, and then roll up, and we'll come into frog pose. So you just choose that option and be comfortable with the option of happy baby or frog pose. So bring the knees out wide if you're coming into frog, toes out. Heels in, push the hips back. If you're in happy baby, just make sure you bring the knees out as wide as you can come. Okay. So the trick with this pose is making sure that the hips are continually pushing back, okay? When you're in frog pose, and then slowly come down. Perfect. That's good. It's always really nice to see people choose what they need to choose, because you don't want to be pushing your body, you just want to allow these hips to start opening. And this is a pretty intense pose, this frog pose. So everyone's in a pose now. There's a lot of stillness there, which is really good. So just the breath, okay? Just focus on the breath, nothing else. So you're just over halfway through. So just check where you are physically and go back to the breath. Just allow the body to do what it needs to do as you start controlling the mind with the breath. When you're ready, slowly working your way up. And then we're going to come into Shavasana. So just work your way into Shavasana. Relax those hips. Get that blood flowing through now. It's good. You should start feeling the opening now. Just felt just such a difference after that pose. Just got this really good feeling around the hips. So that energy now is starting to shift through the body. So the stagnant energy is moving out. Vibrant, positive energy is moving in. So the next few poses we don't hold for too long, but it's important now to get a back bend, forward bend movement going. So bring the knees up into the chest, have a squeeze, and then roll up to a seated position. So we're going to come into a pose called Ardha Kamasana, which is half tortoise pose. So Ardha means half. This one will stay in for a couple of minutes. So we come into Japanese seated pose. We've done this before. So this is Vajrasana. So this pose here. We bring the hands up, palms together, cross thumbs. And so to come into Kamasana is coming to the floor with the hands. So we bring the arms to the ears and we come down and bring the hands on the floor. So just the blades of the hands, push the pinkies forward as you push the hips back to the heels and then drop the head down. And just work with the breath. So we're lengthening the spine here as well as a nice forward bend. Just holding here, keep pushing the hips back as you reach forward. Connect to the breath. Try and keep the elbows off the floor if you can. So elbows up. And if you're doing it one-handed, just keep pushing those hips back. You really want to get those hips back to the heels. So you've got about a minute to go. So just keep pushing the hips back to the heels. And reaching those arms, those hands forward. So in this last minute, On the inhale, you slide the hands forward. Exhale, push the hips back. So it's just like human traction. So slide forward, hips back. Slide forward, hips back. Beautiful. Last 20 seconds here. Just slowly help yourself up. Use your strength to come up. Bring the arms up and then just down by the sides. So we're going to come straight into the next pose. So we're staying where we are, but come forward, bring the knees to hip width apart. Tops of the feet on the floor. And we're going to come into Ustrasana camel pose. I think we did this yesterday, maybe not long ago, but bring the hands behind, fingers down, shoulder blades together. Okay, so Mary, with one hand, you can just have one hand in the middle of the back. Okay, and just come back, just have that other hand just dangling if you need to. So point down, fingers, push the hips forward, drop the head back. That might be enough. You might just want to stay there, just hold there if that's where you want to be. But just keep bringing the shoulder blades together and push the sternum up. You just feel that nice bend in the back. If you want to go further, you can bring right hand, right heel, left hand, left heel. But that is when you need to do that. You don't have to do that, but just keep pushing the hips forward, shoulder blades together, roll the eyes back, and breathe. It's really deep back bend. Keep pushing the hips forward. So wherever you're at, just push the hips forward, roll the eyes back. That's the important part. Not here for too much longer, so push the hips forward, squeeze the glutes, push the hips towards the front of the mat. Just keep pushing, pushing. Now bring the shoulder blades together, sternum up, drop the head back as far as you can go, then slowly come up. Left hand, left hip, right hand, right hip. Just sit on your haunches for a second and then flip over into Shavasana. And then relax. A nice, deep, solid back bend there. You probably feel the heat pick up after that one. So now just check your breath. Just from that back bend there, just feel the breath, feel the heartbeat. Just feel the difference on the way that adrenaline just pumps through the body. So now we're relaxing that adrenaline. So the point here is, if ever you're in a depressive state, we all get it, at certain parts, that sort of back bend will just naturally give you adrenaline. Okay, so you don't, that's your in-house medication. And I can guarantee it just shifts you instantly. This is why back bends are so important, to massage those adrenal glands. And you just feel yourself now in Shavasana, the heartbeat slows, the breath slows. You start coming back into who you really are, into your source. So when you're ready, bring the knees up into the chest. We're going to finish off with a really, really nice pose. So roll up. And we're going to come into twisted deer. It's one of my faves to finish with, but it's one of my faves to be in forever. So bring the left knee down, the right knee comes up under the left foot. Again, you can open that hip up if you want more of a hip opening by bringing the knee away from the foot. Have your bolster or cushion on the left-hand side where your knee's coming down, and then just twist to where you need to twist to today. Just hold in that pose. We've got a really good 3 minutes either side today in this, which is always nice to get 3 minutes in this pose. So just enjoy the pose. Get into it the best you can. And just let yourself drift away. So remember, there's nothing to do now, just you and the breath. Beautiful. We should all just feel so relaxed. Just know that the series of poses we've done today is just stashed you full of energy. So you've got the energy there when you need it through the vital part of the day. So just a minute to go on this side. When you're ready, slowly come up. And then just switching to the other side. So right knee down, left knee comes under the right foot, bolster to the right hand side, and then twisting to the right. Get yourself nice and comfortable. So last minute and a half, so halfway through this pose. Just catch your mind from drifting into to-do mode. You don't want that to happen just yet. And when you're ready, slowly untwisting and coming into our final pose, Shavasana. Just keep that feeling of relaxation as you head into Shavasana for the last 3 minutes or so. Got ourselves into a really nice, relaxed state. So in this relaxed state, we're just emitting this frequency, this energy to a frequency that's calming, relaxed, open. There's less noise going on in the mind. This is when your intuition is at its strongest. Just tap into that. Just go inwards. Just look inwards. And to look inwards, we just need to roll our eyes upwards to the Chitta-Kasha, that place. Just go into that place without any attachment. Just allow yourself to explore that place. Just make a mental note, whatever comes to mind when you're in that place. Not when you're out of the place, when you're in there. Just focusing on that breath for that hour that allowed you to visit Chitakasha, that place, that space, freedom, and just explore there. You don't need to go in there and ask for anything or do anything or be under any strict instructions. Just allow yourself to explore, and you just feel the intuition start kicking in throughout the day. Every now and again, just relax your eyes and then go back up into Chitakasha. So just work on the focus of Chitakasha for the next minute. Just moving in and out if you like, or staying there the whole time. If you get any irregular thoughts come into mind, just go back to Chitakasha. Just go back there, trust the place. And when you're ready, just bring the focus back to the breath. So just feeling the air coming in and out of the nostrils. It's all you need to feel right now. And just the last 20 seconds or so, with every inhale in, just say so. Just mentally to yourself, and exhale, hum. Now just relax. The so hums, and just feel the breath again without the so hum. And then just thank yourself for dedicating this time on a Saturday morning to yourself. Getting into this place of bliss for this time. And just know that you've set yourself for the day. Your intuition's alive. And then send off a gratitude to someone or something, some event in your life. I'm thankful for that. And when you're ready, wiggling the toes and the fingers, making your way to the right hand side and then up into Sukhasana. Bring your hands into prayer position. Remember, when you get up there, big breath in and out. And I'd like to thank you guys again for being here and allowing me to take you through the class. And I hope you feel really awesome. It was designed for your intuition to be there and relaxed and in this great place of energy. And so hopefully that happens for you today. But thank you for being there. Allow me to take you through, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Namaste.